Today's a new day, but there is no sunshine. Nothing but clouds and it's dark.
All right. Good morning, Bibb County Schools. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well this morning. Happy New Year to all of you. And I'm so glad that we're able to start our professional learning day together. And it's very important that we do it in this light because I want to make sure that this entire district understands where we're headed in our next episode. Something we want to do to make sure that we fuel every single effort that we have on the table right now. So this morning, I want to once again just say good morning and thank you to all of you. We have finished an entire semester, embarked upon another semester. And what we want to do is make sure we get everything that can come out of the great work and the commitment that we have on the table. So this morning is about you understanding the Show Up campaign, but also what it means for us as a school district. So this is our district-wide staff commitment convocation for the Show Up campaign. As I continue, you've seen these words, which are so important to us, and those are leadership, scholarship, and citizenship. But I want to throw in another word as it relates to what we're talking about this morning, and that is ownership. As I've been here for the past 6 months or so and surveyed and listened and observed, one of the things I think is a missing critical piece is that of ownership across the board. Not so much for us, but more on the part of other entities. So the Show Up campaign is, if I could just sum it up in just a few words, it is intended to target this ownership issue so that in the midst of everything we're already doing, this campaign can be the fuel to the fire of everything that we're trying to do across the board. Yesterday, I had the pleasure, of course, being in Atlanta to go to the King Center to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King. And I was drawn to this quotation that I saw from Coretta Scott King on the wall, and I thought it'd be appropriate to share in this context. She simply said, struggle is a never-ending process. Freedom is never really won. You earn it and win it in every generation. So as I think about this generation of students, you as a generation of educators, our core task is to get ourselves in a space where we can render ourselves free to teach, free to drive, free to counsel, free to administer supports, free to coach, free to lead, free to cook the best meals, free to clean in such a way that all of these things lend itself to a more prepared set of students who come into a setting from the minute they leave their doorstep to the minute they get back in the best way possible. And we know that struggle is a never-ending process. So this is a real struggle that we're in. But I believe that if we commit ourselves to fully showing up every staff member, every opportunity, every single day, I just believe that something great is going to come out of it. But we know it's not just isolated to us, and I'll talk about that in just a minute, but allow me just enough time to talk about us. Do y'all remember this day? A day that we all came together at Luther Williams Field, and we had a grand time, but this was in place to bring us in a common space, to get in a common mental, spiritual, physical, emotional space as we started the school year. And who remembers the question that I asked you more than one time? The question was, can I count on you? Can I count on each one of these individuals in this particular setting? And right now we're back in that same setting, but we're in our own spaces, and we won't be close to as long, but more focused on this idea of us counting on each other and counting on ourselves to show up. So the big question is, can we count on each other and ourselves to fulfill the vision of our district, to fulfill the mission of our district, to live out the values of our district? Can we count on ourselves to maintain accountability, to make sure that we are tier one strong, and that we see problems, we own them, we solve those problems, and we do what we need to do? Can we count on ourselves to continue on this journey of being #built for Bibb? That's the big question that we're asking this morning. Can we count on ourselves to fulfill every piece of the strategic priorities and our strategic plan that is currently in place? The main thing that we have to do is to adopt ownership. And again, this is not a stab at us, but it's more of an injection of love and encouragement that we want to throw at all of us as we reset ourselves for this new semester. And not just this new semester, but the beginning of a campaign that will not go away until every staff member, every student, every parent, supported by our community, shows up every single day. Let me help you all understand, and many of you have seen this before, but it's important for you to understand the next journey towards our big idea of making sure that this is a personalized experience for every single student. So the vision of our 4Me framework, and what I want to do now is kind of condition you towards what's next in terms of my vision. The vision is that each student will graduate prepared to make a well-informed decision about their next step. And we're talking about through a rigorous experience, becoming more excited, more adept about choosing something that they want to do for the rest of their lives, and that they will be thoroughly prepared to excel based on their experience in Bibb County. So the idea is that through exposures that we give them, both from a human capital standpoint and resource standpoint, the experiences that they engage in, that will result in a level of encouragement and enlightenment, such that one day they'll decide that I want to be enrolled in college, not just enrolled, but matched at the right institution and then enrolled. I just don't want to enlist in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Coast Guard, but I want to be motivated to enlist based on great information. I don't want to just be employed. I want to be meaningfully employed in a career that has potential for retirement and growth potential, the opportunity to make a meaningful income. And I just don't want to be an entrepreneur, but I want to be molded for entrepreneurship. And by the end of this pre-K-12 experience, you want every single student to be empowered, not just at the end, but as they go to make an executive decision. I'll quickly cover the picture in the bottom right-hand corner so you all understand where I'm going. And for those who've heard this a million times, a million and one won't hurt you. This was after the national championship basketball game where I came out of the New Orleans arena. And I happened upon these amazing group of 7 young men who were drumming their tails off. I'm talking about precision that sounded professional. And as I looked at these particular students, I couldn't help but think about the student on the left, who perhaps could go to Southern University because he had and be in the band, matched and enrolled. Or perhaps the student next to him who could be a part of the Marine Drum Corps, motivated to enlist and do something that you love. Or the kid in the Puma shirt, who could perhaps be the next drummer for Bruce Springsteen or Earth, Wind and Fire or Guns N' Roses or Hootie and the Blowfish or whoever it is who's looking for great talent, meaningfully employed. Or perhaps the kid in the middle who becomes so good he can now teach little kids just like him, molded for entrepreneurship in his own drum classes or drum workshop or drum society, whatever it is, a drum center. These things happen now, and we want every single student to be able to look at themselves, look at their talents, find themselves, and then do something about it. But we identify that there's a problem of practice. So you might be asking, Dr. Sears, where this whole show up idea come from? It came from this question: how do we influence the thinking of students so that they show up every day? And I want y'all just to imagine the students who reported to school every day, and they actually show up to take full advantage of everything in the learning experience. I'm going to call that out as an issue. And I believe every one of us will agree that we do not have currently 100% of students literally showing up, giving their whole selves to the learning experience and doing much more than attendance, but really attending to themselves, attending to the opportunities available, the resources, the human capital in front of them in terms of the teacher, the custodian, the counselor, the social worker, the school psychologist, the assistant principal, coach, whoever that person is, the school nutrition worker, the person driving them every single morning, whoever that person is, the director, the superintendent, every district worker. Attending to every single one of them and fully showing up so that whatever it is planned by way of that interaction, it maximizes itself. So we want to attack this question in this show up campaign. How do we influence the thinking of students so that they show up every day? We talked about some root causes, and we've been working on this for some months, but the one that I want to target this morning is this idea of a systematic culture of acceptance regarding students not showing up. I'll be the first to admit that I've lived before in a space where I just kind of thought, well, I mean, that's how they act. That's how they are. That's how it's going to be. And I'm just in a space now where I just don't want to accept that anymore. And I want to target and I want to attack this issue of accepting students not showing up. Millions of dollars going out every single day, every single month throughout the school year for what if students do not show up? So this is the beginning of us doing something a little bit different, nothing new per se, but again, just fueling the tank of the work that we're already doing. So what we did is we identified a theory of action. And the theory of action simply says this: if we engage all stakeholders, that's all of us, in identifying those barriers and supports needed to make sure that we create a collective sense of urgency, if we effectively communicate this whole idea of showing up and the importance thereof, if we consistently articulate this importance, and this is where you come in, if we reinforce development and support for us so that we are skilled and talented and compelling students to take more advantage of what they have in front of them, and if we monitor on a consistent basis the capacity of our teachers and students to actually show up, then we feel like this is going to maximize the instructional spirit of where the main work happens. This is no disrespect to anybody else's role, because everybody's role is critical. But ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, what happens inside the classroom every single day is perhaps the most important work in terms of everything that we do. And all of us, superintendent included, are here to support and maximize what happens inside that classroom, whether we are giving them a full belly, a safe ride to school, keeping them safe, counseling them right, coaching the teacher in front of them to maximize that experience, supporting the school from a district standpoint, answering those phone calls and responding to constituent concerns, receiving parents and encouraging them, whatever it is, all of those arrows point to the classroom. We also feel that as a result of these things, we will increase student achievement, as well as make it such that students do not want to miss school. And one of the biggest ones, there will be an established culture where everybody responsible, the main people that we're calling out, students, teachers, and parents, they not only understand, but they respond to the importance of students showing up to school every single day. As we think about the essential components, you will see this at your school level. Let me make a point here. What we don't intend to do is to make the Show Up campaign something that is only limited to these components and these pillars as it relates to you as a staff. But this will be the foundation. And what we expect for you to do as staff, as departments, as schools, as different organizations within this big organization we call the Bibb County Public School System, is to take this and adapt it to the needs and the challenges inside your school. So the big three for our staff are attendance, professional development, and specifically academics, and of course, wellness. We want all of you to be well, and we've identified some core ideas as it relates to observable behaviors. Of course, we have 4 pillars for our students, that being attendance, academics, character, and wellness. And what we will do, if you notice at the bottom, we have not left out the critical and amazing work we've already done in terms of Leader in Me. So we're tying Leader in Me habits to these core pieces with Show Up, and I've already started follow-up conversations with the Leader in Me support so that we can make sure there's a strong marriage. And of course, we do not want to leave out our parents. So just know that the next step for this is this big idea that we stop just making things accessible to parents and encouraging parents, but we want to recruit parents to show up. I'll be the first to say I've never worked in an educational setting in my 28 years where I felt like 100% of parents showed up. And I believe we can do a better job at either pushing them to do better or helping them to do better. And I think there are people who exist on both sides, and you see the pillars associated with it. The big idea behind these is that I want you to see that we are targeting students, staff, and parents showing up, but starting with us, every staff member, every opportunity, every single day, showing up for the work that is before us. So what I wanted to do this morning is just take a few moments of your time and to help you understand what this Show Up campaign is all about. What I don't want you to do is get yourself in the space of trying to figure out and ask, what else are they going to ask us to do? I'm asking you to do one simple thing this morning: show up. That's it. For those of you who already know you are showing up 100% every day for every opportunity, thank you. For those of you who perhaps have been in a space where I've even been, Well, I know I didn't show up every single day. I didn't give my 100%. I allowed those negative conversations, those parking lot conversations, those negative people, these negative circumstances, the challenge of all of this to affect me as a whole person. I'm done with that now, and especially as your superintendent. So this is my urge and my push for us as an entire school district, as we get ready to do this same activity with our students and the same piece with our parents, to say, hey, y'all, we're showing up first and we need y'all to follow us. So we want to lead the way and then hopefully increase the level of respect for the work that we do as a school district as a result of us leading this effort of showing up as our whole selves. So today it's all about all of us reaffirming our commitment if it's already there, rededicating ourselves if it has diminished, and looking to our left and looking to our right to make sure we're all on the same page. As a matter of fact, for those of you who are sitting in the room right now and you have somebody to your left and to your right, I want you to look to that person to your left and look to that person to your right. And as you look them in the eyes, I want you to remind yourselves that you are not an island. I am not an island. None of us are. But we count on each other to be the best that we can possibly be. And if we show up for ourselves and we show up for our students and we show up for the person to our left and to our right, I believe that we're going to see something continue to happen that is even greater than what has already happened in this fine district. So our immediate next step, so that you will know, is to have a student-friendly version of this whole show up campaign so that every single student understands. But I want to make sure you're clear in what I'm about to say. What I don't anticipate and what I don't expect is on January 20th, with our 22,500 students, that every single student signs up to show up. As a matter of fact, I want to give you permission to push our students on this. Because if you know you have some students who know they're not going to do their homework tomorrow, I don't need them to sign up. Not on January the 20th. If there's some students who know they're going to get in a fight or try to entice a fight or bully somebody next week or not show up just because you don't feel like it or disrespect the bus driver or throw some food in the cafeteria, I don't need them to sign. Not on this day. But I need students to really dig deep and think about what is it going to take for you to stop all the nonsense and let us know what your barriers are so that we can help you be a whole person every single day. So what I hope doesn't happen, and this may sound bad, but I'm just going to be real. I already know that every student is not ready to show up, not on January 20th. And then all of a sudden on the next Monday, we have this pristine, amazing environment, 0 referrals. Everybody's making A's. Everybody's eating all the food off the plate. Everybody's singing la, la, la on the buses, and the bus drivers are happy. Everybody's receiving all the counseling support, and they're receiving all the coaching. I already know that's not going to happen just like that. Real talk. So given that, we want to use this as a foundational day to go ahead and grab those students who I expect to sign up. I expect for athletes, ROTC. I expect for our students who are killing it in the classroom. I expect for our Student Government Association. I expect for all of our seniors. There are certain groups I am going to call out to say, I hope you lead the way in showing up and signing off that you're ready to do so. So this is going to happen on January the 20th. But before all of that, what has to happen is that all of us start with our firm commitment. So what I'm hoping happens today is that all of us can take this pledge, but then allow this pledge to now make us start thinking, what does it look like for me to show up every single day? To show up for my brother, my sister, myself, my students, no matter what I do in this district. Because literally everybody in this picture, whoever was at the bathroom at the time we took the picture or behind the stadium, you are the ones that are going to make this work happen. And I just look forward to that day that people increase their level of respect for the stuff that we do, for what happens on a daily basis. We do amazing work that nobody else can do. And today is the day that we reaffirm our commitment. So at the end of the day, victory continues to be in progress as we build ourselves up to be the best possible persons. So guess what? I'm not going to hear all morning. Not at all. Short and sweet, but I need everybody to understand, what is this show up campaign all about and where are we going? Before I move to the final slide, I want to offer a few thanks. First of all, to Takesha Lewis. She has played a major role in facilitating our group and developing our processes and moving the ship forward. There are many district personnel, our executive officers, our senior cabinet, and other individuals. We have worked hard to try to develop something that makes sense and that is aligned to the work that we're already doing, and not just something that looks like something else that we're trying to do. Let me end again by saying this. We will not stop until everybody shows up, so that we can truly not any longer have a mystery in terms of how far we can go for every single student. So thank you to those individuals, and we're just looking forward to something great that's going to happen. So the last thing is this. I want everybody now to pull out your phones and whatever other device, and I want you to engage in this QR code, or you can just hit the link at the bottom. And this is what is going to happen. This is going to help us to get everybody on the same page. And this is just a simple pledge that we're taking. And as a result of this pledge, I hope that we're all just re-energized and we get ourselves to the space, and whatever you need to do to get yourself to that space. But I want to make sure we all understand a key sentence, and it's at the bottom of this pledge. And here it is. It says, I will show up for myself, for my team, and our students. You can count on me every day. So please understand, this is not just about you showing up for something else. I want you to show up for yourself and be able to go home every day with a sense of gratification that what you did and how you did it and who you did it with, it made a difference. And you can smile and go to sleep and wake up energized to come back and do it the very next day and add all those days together so that we're all on the same page. So let me end the slideshow on that note. If I can figure out how to do it, there we go, right here. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen and just say to all of you, as we get ready to close, thank you once again for the incredible work that you do as a school district. And I'm just excited about where we're going to be able to go. And this morning's purpose was really just to get us all on the same page and just reaffirm our commitment to showing up 100%. As we get ready to push the most critical bodies, our students and our parents, to do the exact same. With that said, I love all of you. Happy New Year once again. God's blessings upon everything that we do from this day forward. Let's get ourselves prepared to show up like we never have before.